Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the Life Be Life and podcast. I'm your host, Coach Emery Cannon. And today we have a comeback, but a very, very special guest. He got some of the top ratings last time. So I had to bring him back because you guys loved him. And so here he is again, Sterling the Execution Stokes. How you doing today?
Hey, Emery. Hey, Emery. Well, I'm doing phenomenal. First and foremost, just thank you so much for having me back. And not only that, congratulations on your new book, You Deserve.
Thank you.
Why? Because I just love how that flows. So I had to say that. You could even flip it the other way around. Why? Because you deserve. So
You
we definitely
deserve.
have to make
That's
sure we
right.
do some work together in the future without a doubt. But
Absolutely.
hello, everyone. For those that may not have seen my first podcast with Emery, my name is Sterling Ross Stokes III, the execution specialist. I run a company that's called Sterling Execution. I've been creating and developing leadership teams for over 22 years, helping small mom and pop businesses all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, as well as entrepreneurs that may be in real estate or in the financial sector. So that's a little bit about me. But I'm here today to talk about my new book. I'm extremely excited. It's called Why Because, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it right now, Emery.
The book is so amazing. I don't know if people have had a chance to read it right before this interview, but I'll tell you this: it's definitely dynamite, man. And you put a lot of things in perspective on it. So let's just get right into it. And first thing you want to get into is the cover of the book. So Sterling, let's talk about that real quick. When someone picking up your book? What do you want them to feel on that cover?
Yes, I want the cover to speak to the individual that sees it on the bookshelf. So I want them to feel confronted in the best way. The moment you look at the cover, you're staring at a choice, red pill or blue pill. That's intentional because that's exactly what the book is. It's a choice. As you're going, you, I mean, think about it this way. Are you going to keep on living in your why, making excuses, rationalizing your delays, or are you going to shift to because, owning your decisions, owning your outcomes, and taking radical accountability for your life? The cover isn't decoration, it's a message.
Yes. Why? Because I love that cover. I As soon as I seen it, I said that's mastermind right there. Mastermind. So, what does the title "Why Because" mean to you at its core?
Great question. I'm glad you asked that. Most people spend their entire lives asking why. Why did this happen to me? Why haven't things changed? Why am I still stuck? And they never get past the question why, because is a bridge. It's the moment you stop interrogating the universe and you start interrogating yourself. Because I made a choice, because I took action, because I decided to execute. The title itself is the transformational arc of the entire book. The why is where you live, the because is where you lead.
Absolutely. I Wow. Yeah, exactly. You already giving people something to think about right now. So understanding the why. You talk a lot about the danger of why. And most thought leaders do that, to encourage people find their why. How is your perspective different?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. Simon Sinek tells you to start with why. And I respect that framework for purpose. But I'm not talking about a different why entirely. I'm talking about the why that because becomes a crutch, right? So hear me. Why didn't I get the promotion? Why does this always happen to me? Why can't I get ahead? That's the why trap. It loops, it spirals, it keeps you anchored to the problem instead of moving you towards the solution. My book addresses the why that people use to justify inaction, and that why is suffocating their potential, and it's suffocating the potential of many Americans right now.
Yeah, these are desperate times for some people. So you've got that right. Can you describe what it looks like when someone is living in their why?
Absolutely. It looks like the person who has every reason in the world why they haven't started that business. It looks like a salesperson who explains in detail why their numbers are down, the market, the economy, the manager, but can't tell you what they're personally doing differently. It looks like the leader who has a brilliant vision, but a graveyard of unexecuted ideas. The why always sounds intelligent. It always sounds logical. That's what makes it dangerous. It's a sophisticated form of avoidance. Why sounds like wisdom, but if you keep it'll basically keep you stuck. And it's just an elaborate excuse wearing a very, very nice suit.
That's right. That all makes sense right there. But so when someone is like trying to make the shift to why to because, what does that moment look like?
Wow. Um, Great question again. That shift happens when you get tired of your own story, tired of your own excuses. I've seen it in boardrooms. I've seen it in the factory floors. I've seen it in my own life. There's a moment when a person looks in a mirror and says, I'm the common denominator here, not the economy, not my boss, and not my upbringing. Me. That's the because moment. Because I didn't prepare, because I didn't execute, because I waited when I should have moved. That level of ownership is terrifying. And it also is the most liberating thing you will ever experience.
So it almost feels like, and tell me the difference here. So it almost looks like it's blaming yourself. Is there a difference where because isn't blaming yourself, or is it kind of the same?
That's a great distinction because it's not self punishment, it's self accountability. There's a massive difference between self blaming keeps you in your emotional state. Self accountability moves you to the solution. When you say, because I didn't follow up, I lost the deal, that statement itself is there to make you feel bad. It's there to show you exactly where you need to focus more on. Because now you know, now you can fix it because is intelligence. Self blame is pluralizing, wearing a different mask than why. Accountability is not punishment, it is GPS. It shows you exactly where you are so you can get to where you're going.
A roadmap. That's all it is. Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. And I hope the listeners out there are understanding that. Where can they get the book at? Just a quick segue here. Where can they get the book at?
You can get the book at www.sterlingstokes3.com, or you can get my first as well as my second book on Amazon.
So just kind of going right into it, because I want people to understand why this book is out. How does someone use that framework of why because in their personal life, or even like their relationship, or more importantly in like health or like daily discipline? How do they do that?
Great question. Great question. First, I challenge you to start with a 30-day audit. For 30 days, every time you catch yourself saying why, write it down. Why didn't I work out today? Why didn't I have the conversation? Why did I stay up too late? At the end of 30 days, look at the list. These aren't questions. These are patterns. These are your avoiding signatures. Now flip every single one of these and make it because I chose comfort over commitment, because I was afraid of conflict, because I lacked discipline in the moment. That's not criticism. That's clarity. And clarity is where personal transformation begins.
Wow. That's a lot to think about there. I remember last time you were on the show, you spoke a lot and very highly about your dad. So, how does your father's philosophy help you shape and lead your family now?
Great question. As you know, my dad was my heart, my everything.
Yes.
So for me being a father, that's the greatest accountability lab there is. My daughters are watching everything I do, not
Yeah.
what I say, but what I do. I can't preach execution and come home and be passive. I can't talk about discipline and slack on my own. The why because framework keeps me honest at home the same way it does in business because I am their example, because my habits become their inheritance. That's not pressure, that's purpose. And purpose will make you execute when motivation has long since checked out. Your children do not inherit your words, they inherit your habits.
Yeah.
Make sure what they're catching from you is worth keeping.
Wow. Very inspiring. And, me as a father, I feel that straight to the core, you know, and you can tell just like looking at your social media, you are a family man. You're all about family. You're at every event. You're taking advantage of those moments. But going into like the business side in your consulting work, because that's what everybody wants to know about is, your consulting work as the executioner specialist, how do you see the why versus because dynamic playing out in organizations?
Great question. Great question. This is one that I love to thrive in. So, every underperforming organization I've always walked into without expectations has a culture of why, period. Why are the sales down? Why is the culture broken? Why don't people follow through? And leadership keeps asking these questions in the meeting and writing them on whiteboards, and nothing changes because the question is the wrong question. When I when I come in, I reframe everything around because. What did we actually do or not do that produce these results? To shift the culture from victim to an owner. So you're shifting the mindset of your workers from being victims to thinking like the owner. And when you have a team of owners, execution becomes the norm and not the expectation.
So, speaking of that, teams, what's the one of the most powerful shifts you've seen a team or leader, if it's just one, make after applying that framework?
Well, that's a great question. I've worked with sales organizations where every pipeline review sounded like a weather report. It's tough out there on the market. Prospects aren't responding. I introduced the because audit, and every rep had to own their pipeline in because language. Because I didn't prospect enough in quarter one. Because I let deals slip away without following up on them. Because I wasn't prepared for objection conversations. Within 90 days, the energy of the room was completely different. People weren't showing up to explain their results, they were showing up to change them. That's the power of the shift. A team that explains the results will never outperform a team that owns their results. Stop reporting the weather and just change it.
I love that. If somebody's out there and they feel this in their core, they know this is for them. Uh, what's the next step? What do they do next?
Well, the first thing is I want them to do three things. First, get the book. Not tomorrow, today. Because procrastination is just why, with a deadline attached. Second, do the because audit I mentioned. 30 days, real honest inventory of you where your why is running your where your why is running your life. That's what I mean by that. Third, identify one decision you've been avoiding. The one thing you know you need to do but haven't done. Write it down, put a date on it, and move. Not perfectly, just move. Because the cost of inaction is always higher than the cost of imperfect action.
Yes. Testify, preach. I got you. Those, those are some amazing words there. So, my favorite thing, where can people find you or connect with you, to get some deeper work done with you?
Absolutely. I always say this. Go to my website, Sterling Stokes III. Set up a free consultation so we can see how my business can help you. That's the first thing. The next thing is get the book. Get the book as well. As well as that, get my first book, Mentally Tough, Stop Delaying, and Execute. They're both available right now on Amazon. Follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I almost post almost every single day. So make sure that you're receiving that particular message. If you lead a team, if you run an organization, if you want to bring this framework into your company and culture, reach out to my team. My team will get back to you so we can schedule a conversation. I work with leaders and organizations who are um, doing exceptionally well currently with this particular framework. So I'm just here to give back because I'm a true believer of this. Impact always happens twice. The impact of me coming into an organization and getting their productivity and their accountability together, which what does that do? That makes their revenue rise, right? You have happier workers, they stay longer, and you can build from within. And then the impact that I receive is the new talent and skill set that I receive from that particular organization. So it's always a two-way street. But you must take action today. The time is always now. Never wait for a better time. Execute from where you are. The cost of inaction is always higher than the cost of imperfect action. Stop waiting for perfection. Execute from where you are.
Wow. Defining words there, where you are. So, are there any final words, something to motivate somebody just for the next couple of days that our listeners can take with them, a little bit of Sterling with them? Is there anything
Absolutely.
you want to give to them real
Absolutely.
quick?
Absolutely. There's definitely. Yes, I want every single person listening to understand this. Your why brought you this far. Acknowledge it, then leave it. The version of you that you've been praying for, working towards, dreaming about, the version doesn't live in the question. The version lives in the execution. Every day you delay is a day that version waits. Every excuse you accept is a wall you're building around your own potential. Choose because own your choice, execute your vision, and remember you are not your circumstance. You are your decisions. Make them on purpose. Make them on purpose because what? Why? Why is an excuse, and excuses are monuments to nothing. They build bridges to nowhere, And people who use them are often failures and conquerors of nothing. And I do not believe that people wake up in the morning to say, you know what? It's a great day to fail. People just need help to unlock their hidden potential. And that's what we do at Sterling Execution Consulting Firm.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I love that saying. You can say it 100 times. I'm gonna say it with you in my head. Thank you so much for coming out. And tell them one more time the website where they can get the book at. Because that book
Yes.
is amazing.
And I thank you so much, Emery. It is going to be sterlingstokes3.com or Amazon, or feel free to message me on any of my social media platforms, and I'll get the information to you and get your personal signed copy out in the mail today.
Oh, I should have did it that way and got the signed copy. Oh, Lord. I didn't know. I should have did this first and then I would have knew. I'm making, actually, I'll be out in Nashville in a couple weeks. So I'm a hunt you down.
Yes, let's make sure that we connect. Definitely, we
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
connect.
absolutely. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Sterling is an amazing, amazing speaker and even a better executioner. So make sure you check him out on his website. Get the book. I always tell people with me, if you don't want to buy my services, buy my book because everything I'm gonna tell you is right in there. Anyway, I appreciate you for coming back and blessing us with your knowledge. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are
Thank
an
you, Emery.
amazing soul, and anybody will be lucky to hire you for that for consulting them. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And thank you so much, Emery, for the opportunity. Look forward to talking to you again this year when the third book is released later on this year.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See, he's always on the ball, guys. You got to keep up with this guy. Go to the website. He gave it to you 3 times. That means it's for you. 3 times is a charm. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sterling. You have an amazing day, and you guys have an amazing day as well.
Thank you.